but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from all wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk. Let me walk close to thee. Just a closer walk with thee.
Just a closer walk.
Granted, Jesus is my plea.
Just a closer walk.
Daily walking close to thee. Let it be,
Just a closer walk.
dear Lord, let it be. When my feeble life is o'er, time for me will be no more. Guide me gently, safely o'er to thy kingdom shore, to thy shore. Just a closer walk with thee.
Just a closer walk.
Granted, Jesus is my plea.
Just a closer walk.
Daily walking close to
Just a closer walk with
thee. Let it be,
Just a closer walk.
dear Lord, let it be.
Just a closer walk with thee.
I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles when life is done. I'd like to leave an echo, whispering softly down the ways of happy times and laughing times and bright and sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun of happy memories that I leave when life is done. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jesse, and I have been honoured with the privilege of conducting this funeral service for a man who was a bit of a larrikin, a man whose life was characterised by hard work, generosity, a dry wit, and always being there to help out a mate. We meet today to pay tribute to the life of Warren Russell Peck and to express our love and admiration for him. Today, for each of you gathered here, it is a sad day, but nevertheless, it is a good day, because we're not here to close the door on the life of Warren, but to honour his wish, his life, and his memory by keeping that door open and to celebrate his good times lived and his character. To allow the memories of him to flow, to make us smile, and to prompt us to follow his example and be thankful that our lives have connected. There will be genuine smiles and gratitude for the memories that Warren has given us that can never be taken away, just as he would want. As you all likely know, Warren wasn't one for a great deal of fuss. Yes, he was. He didn't want anyone to have to worry or go to any trouble on his behalf. And so, being ever the organiser, has pre-arranged all of today's details himself, with rather comprehensive notes. It was his wish that the proceedings here today be simple and sincere, and it's my privilege to play just a small part in honouring that request. It was important to him that his funeral ceremony should reflect who he was, a no-fuss, down-to-earth, loving person devoted to his family. A funeral takes a team of people who work together in creating a ceremony, and with me today are Brendan and Zoe, and along with our catering staff, Mandy and Fairley, and as the staff of Parkside Funerals, we are privileged to have been entrusted with the care of Warren following his death and of conducting his service here at Parkside. Just a reminder too, if you haven't done so already, to please either switch off or silence your mobile phones. If your ringtone happens to be Collingwood, you may be granted some lenience for today only, but ideally the control of the music's best left to us. Thanks. I'd also like to welcome those who are unable to be here with us in the chapel today and are joining us via live stream. Your presence is very much appreciated. At the conclusion of this service, you are warmly invited to stay here to share in a less formal time of remembering, for a cuppa and a chat, and to enjoy some light refreshments before we make our way together to the Wynyard Lawn Cemetery. Warren was a loving husband to Suzanne for 33 years, a cherished stepfather to Shaz and Ross, Amanda and Colin, an adored pop to Paige and Jenna, and a dear friend to Nick and Kat, a son of the late George and Lillian Peck, and a brother to Lance, who's deceased, an uncle to Leanne, Gregory and Michael, and a good mate to many. And on behalf of Warren's family, I'd like to thank each of you gathered here for your love, support and friendship shown to both Warren and to them. Even though you mightn't think you're doing much, small acts of kindness can make such a remarkable difference. Today is a day when stories will flow, stories that capture the essence of the man that Warren was, stories that may make us laugh, remember things long forgotten, and remind us of the good times that we've shared. In a little while, there will be an opportunity to come forward yourselves and to share a memory of Warren, should you wish to. So consider this a heads up. The majority of us lead quiet, unheralded lives as we pass through this world. There will most likely to be no parades for us, no monuments created in our honour, but that does not lessen our possible impact, for there are scores of people waiting for someone just like us to come along. People who will appreciate our compassion and our unique talents. Someone who will live a happier life merely because we took the time to share what we had to give. Too often, we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. It's overwhelming to consider the continuous opportunities that there are to make our love felt. And Warren's story is one of these. So let's look back a little to the middle of World War II, where his tale begins. Warren Russell Peck was born on the 14th of March 1942 in Queenstown to parents George Albert and Lillian May Peck. Unlike today, Queenstown at that time was still a busy mining community, with plenty of mischief to be found and 2 whole picture theatres to entertain Warren and his brother Lance. After completing his primary and secondary schooling, Warren took the rather recently installed road to Hobart, where he began his career as a clerk with the housing department. It was here and through community football that he met his lifelong friend Tony. During his time in Hobart, he met a girl and fell in love and was married for a time, but as can happen when you're young, it wasn't to last, and Warren moved north to Burnie to start over. After settling in, he tried love again, but again it fizzled out. And after focusing on his work for a while and just getting by, he was sent out for a maintenance job for a lady named Suzanne who had set fire to her kitchen. He can't have done a very good job of fixing it though, because he kept finding reasons to have to come back. But clearly it worked, because the rest, as they say, is history. After courting for a time, they married in Burnie just after Warren turned 50. And Warren has basically led two separate lives. The first, pre-Sue, the Dark Ages, and peri-Sue, and you could argue that this is when his life truly began. All that he did for her. He was the organiser behind their organised chaos. He was a good example to Sue's daughters, Shaz and Amanda, and if ever he wasn't, Sue soon set him straight. After the girls moved out, they enjoyed the company of their pets like cat Jessie, good name, and puppy Caleb. Colin took great joy in telling me about this dog would do handstands and wee all over the place. Warren was often quite reserved, something of a gentle giant, keeping his thoughts mostly to himself unless prompted. He wasn't necessarily shy. He just, once you got him going, it was hard to get him to stop again. He had a measured, dry wit and would wait patiently for the right time to throw in his quips. As I'm sure you probably picked up on, Warren was very much a one-eyed Collingwood supporter and would often talk about how no good Carlton cheated in the 1970 grand final. While the Pies were on, there was little point trying to talk, unless it was about the game, as you're unlikely to get much back out of him. While he certainly took to Sue's girls, Warren found a whole new joy in becoming a pop to Paige and Jenna. But rather than me telling you about their relationship, I'd like to invite them both forward to share some of their own memories of their pop, starting with Paige.
I apologise in advance because I wrote this last night. I'll try and speak a bit louder for you, Nan. In life, there will be people who influence and shape the person you grow up to be. In particular, those closest to you who get to watch you grow and fill the shoes that life has set out for you. When I look back on my childhood, the early days in May Street, I remember you. The man I had the honour of calling my pop. From the start, you have always been my pop, or to help Jen and I, we would call you both Nan and Pop in Somerset. I remember being so excited every time you and Nan would visit, and asking if you could both look after if you could both look after us if Mum and Dad went out for an evening. Jen and I would dance around performing Swan Lake, and you would watch us with excitement like we were real ballerinas. I remember SingStar and how you, Pop, you would only sing with us if it was Elvis. When we used to visit, you would always count the freckles on my cheeks and make me feel so special for having them. I remember Jen and I hiding under blankets in the blow-up pool set up inside as you would reach over and tickle us, leaving us both in stitches from laughing so much. You were always calm, especially with Nan, which makes you the most patient man I've ever known. You loved my Nan as much as anyone could, a kind of love I always wished for myself. When Nick and I visited late last year, you kept looking at my hands. I asked what you were looking for, and with a smirk on your face, you said, "A ring." I promised in that moment that you would be the first to know. You didn't believe me, but I reassured you that moments like that I would want to share with my pop. Which are moments now to come that I will miss the most, especially my annual birthday calls, which you never missed. Warren, Russell, 2 S's, 2 L's, Peck. You shaped and influenced my life more than you will ever know. I love you, and I will miss you in all the moments that I will now share with you in my thoughts and keep you close to my heart for the rest of my life. Bye, Pop.
Really don't know how to follow that page, thank you. Unfortunately, unlike my sister who has the memory of an elephant, I have the memory of a goldfish. So I actually unfortunately don't have too many memories of Pop, but they're always positive ones. I do remember going to Nan and Pop's place in Somerset and watching footy on the 70-inch screen TV that they had, which was pretty rare in those days to have a 70-inch TV, so that was always fun. So what I thought I would do is I'd share some stories of Pop that I got from Amanda and Mum, just to kind of take on what Jessie said about how they met. Wasn't Nan that set the kitchen on fire, it was Amanda. It was 1983, Sharon was in grade 7, Amanda was grade 5. Both Sharon and Amanda were home alone, and Amanda got hungry. Fair enough. So she decided to cook something. One thing led to another, and then suddenly the stove and kitchen walls were on fire. Nan was driving home and noticed a fire truck behind her. Well, she actually pulled out in front of it and was very surprised when it followed her all the way home. Here was little Sharon and Amanda covered in soot. They wanted me to use another word, but I decided to just say soot. From head to toe. Anyway, Pop wasn't a firefighter, but he was a maintenance officer at the housing department, which is where Nan had to go after Amanda almost burnt the house down. Another funny story Mum shared with me was that when she was 16, she got drunk at the Seabrook, which wasn't too uncommon back then, getting drunk at that age. She accidentally took home a bottle of port with a picture of Phar Lap on it, and that was her favourite horse at the time. So Mum treasured that and wanted to keep it for a keepsake. Unfortunately, Warren ended up drinking all of it, and 16-year-old Sharon couldn't exactly complain, could she, because she was under the age. And lastly, Warren owned an ice cream van, which I'm actually very jealous of now because he didn't own one when we were little. But he owned an ice cream van about 1984-85 and serving at Doctor's Rocks, serving ice cream. And then when Sue and Warren went out, Sharon and Amanda would get all their friends and go into the ice cream van and eat all the ice cream. So, very jealous. But that's pretty much it. Thanks.
Thanks, girls. What a tribute it is when your family can speak such words of esteem and gratitude at the end of your days. And now, as mentioned earlier in our service, is an opportunity for anybody else who would like to come forward and share with us. Maybe not. I could bring a mic down if you'd really like. Ah, you're right. You'll be fine. I'm sure there'll be many stories shared over a cuppa later. Okay. Over the last 10 years or so, Warren's health began to slowly decline, but he'd never complain. The only reason anyone knew he wasn't well is because you could see it. Never wanting to be a burden, never wanting anyone to go out of their way or to any trouble on his behalf. He just went on quietly, organising as much as his body would let him. At 83 years old, Warren had a long and varied life, and we could sit here all morning talking about and reminiscing his journey, and we would still just barely scratch the surface. Warren left our world peacefully last Wednesday evening, the 4th of March. To his family, no one could have been more loved, or could have loved Warren more. And at this time, our thoughts are with his family, who have unselfishly devoted themselves to supporting him through his ill times, and also in turn to their dear friends who have supported them. You have lost a large part of your lives in losing Warren, but just as he would have been proud of all you've achieved so far, he would want you to go on to live, to love and laugh and rejoice in the gift of life. Those we love are never truly gone. They live in treasured memories. They live in the hearts of those whose lives they have touched and shared along the way. Your sadness today comes out of caring and out of that love. We know that Warren's spirit and his living made a difference and will continue to do so as long as each of you remember him in your hearts and carry the lessons of his life with you. You are now the representatives and ambassadors of his legacy. He gave you wonderful gifts of kindness and graciousness and acceptance and love. He showed you how to live with a strong and positive heart and how to be thankful for the things that you have. Cherish it always. In just a moment, we will escort Warren from the chapel in preparation for our procession to the Wynyard Lawn Cemetery, where he will be laid to rest. Please stay for a cuppa and to share your stories of Warren with each other and his family, and we will depart here together at 1 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, could I invite you to please stand?
Nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee, even though it be a cross that raiseth me, still all my song shall be nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. Though like the wanderer, the sun gone down, darkness be over me, my rest a stone.